going on, everybody? Mike Strauss back with another interview. This time I have American Top Team's boxing coach, Dyah Davis. We talk about his career, if he would have chosen MMA if it was more popular back then, Dustin Poirier, and a bunch of other things. Before we get to that, you guys know you can find my work at bjpenn.com, Low Kick, Cage Side Press, the YouTube channel, Mike MMA, and of course all my social media is Mike MMA. All right, here is my conversation with Dyah Davis. Enjoy. Well, I want to welcome Dyah Davis to the show for the first time. He really needs no introduction, but just in case you don't know who he is, he's Dustin Poirier's boxing coach. He's also a former pro boxer. His father, Howard Davis Jr., boxed in the 1976 Olympics.
That is correct.
That is very cool, man. You come from a long line of boxers, then.
My father was an outstanding boxer. He boxed in the 1976 Olympics and won gold medal. My grandfather fought as well as my uncle. So I definitely come from a fighting family, that's for sure. That's
super cool, man. You're also the founder of Boca Boxing District, and then you're the boxing coach at ATT, which is American Top Team for people who don't know. That's pretty impressive, man. How did you hook up with ATT?
Actually, my father worked there as a boxing coach there many years ago, and a few years into the business, he and his wife had went to an MMA fight and had an idea to start their own promotional company. So they opened up a promotional company called Fight Town Promotions. It was the biggest promotions here in South Florida. Eventually, my dad got ill. He was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and it wasn't too long afterwards. About 10 months after he passed from the illness. And his wife continued the company and his legacy, and then she in turn ended up selling the company.
First off, I'm sorry to hear about your father, man. That's terrible. Cancer is just one of the things that we haven't been able to figure out a cure for. So my heart really goes out to you. You actually have deep ties with ATT. Then your father, as you said, worked with them. This isn't something that's new to you. You've been doing this for a long time. When you were boxing, did you always kind of know that you wanted to be a coach? Like, was that in the back of your mind?
You know what? I had watched my father do it for so long. It was definitely in the back of my mind. I just didn't think it was going to happen during the course of my career. And, with my dad starting his promotional company, he asked me, hey, would you be interested in coaching? I'm going to be leaving, and basically we can grandfather you in. I'm like, yeah, man, I would love to start coaching. I said, when do I start? He said, you can start now. I'm like, okay. All right, let's. So, eventually, just like a lot of things, man, with time you get better and a little bit more experienced, and with the knowledge that he was passing with me through, my own personal endeavors, it just was natural. It became natural. So
Dustin Poirier, obviously, he is the lightweight champion of the world. That was an incredible fight with him and Max Holloway. His hands have improved so much, Dyah. I can't even tell you. But the thing that I wanted to know was, when you first started working with Dustin, what was his one area where you were like, okay, he's really solid everywhere, but this is the one area that I really think that I can make him better?
You know what? He was definitely solid. I just think we needed to fine-tune his basics. He had all the big things. Already came and knew how to do a jab properly, a cross properly, right hook properly. We just needed to slow things down and just dial it back, work on the basics, keeping the hands up after we're throwing our punches, and footwork and head movement, and eventually, man, he just grew into the fighter that he is today.
Yeah, he's amazing, man. I mean, one thing that was just truly evident in that fight was his power, right? I mean, the power that he has is amazing. I think a lot of that can be attributed to his technique and just his body style too. But the thing that always has been brought up, right, in boxing and in MMA is that technique trumps power, right? They always say, but we kind of saw in that last fight with Dustin that his power kind of trumped Max's technique a little bit, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. And what's crazy with Dustin, I mean, his stamina threshold is crazy. Like, he can go long and still have power late. Like most guys tend to fade with their power. Like once they start to get a little fatigued, once your stamina decreases, so does the power. But man, Dustin, he gets stronger as the fight goes on. So we knew it was going to be a good fight for him. Especially with 5 rounders, we always look forward to it. But he's been scheduled for 5 rounds a few times and never actually went the distance. We weren't worried about Dustin in a 5-rounder and what he can do. We always knew that he could sustain that power late.
Yeah, we really saw that play out with him and Gaethje, right? I mean, that was essentially the difference, was that later in the rounds, Dustin was able to carry that power, right?
Yes. Gaethje was definitely very dangerous with the leg kicks. We were starting to worry about that. It's a chance. You got to check those kicks, man. And Gaethje ended up throwing one of those kicks, and he countered with a beautiful left hand straight down the pipe, which in turn helped Gaethje, and was the deciding factor. It was, once you put the punctuation on that fight, he closed the distance and hit it with another solid left hand.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. Do you think that if MMA was as big as it is right now, if it was like this when you were coming up, do you think that you would have maybe went that route, or do you think you would have went down the boxing route still?
It's hard to say, man. There was a point in my career where I couldn't get a fight. It was like a 6-month stint where I had a fight scheduled, and then the fight would fall through. And I was at a MMA fight back in the day. We used to have a AFC show. It was called AFC, and it was shows that ATT put on, Dan Lambert put on, just to keep some of the guys busy. And I said, man, why not fight MMA? And then seeing guys get elbowed and kicked, I said, nah, I'll pass.
So that thought didn't last very long.
Yeah, I was like, nah, I'll pass on that, man. When God takes me down, I'm a fish out of water.
How come so many of your fights are falling through? People just wanted nothing to do with you?
Yeah, you know what? Although I had no amateur career, people knew who I was training with. They knew who my father was. And I think once they got wind of it, they were just like, thanks.
Yeah, they weren't going to be that guy, right?
Yeah, in Vegas. And at this time, I was training with Floyd Mayweather Sr. And the opponent showed up, got on the scale, Mayweather got off the scale. So everybody else was in my corner. So my dad there, so Floyd Mayweather Sr. The next day, says he went for a walk, twisted his ankle. This guy's 30 years old. How do you go for a walk, twist your ankle?
Get out.
You've been walking 29 years, bro.
Oh, wow. A day before the biggest
Literally
fight of your life.
Hospital. Man, crazy.
Yeah, right. Like you said, man, you've been walking 30 years. The day before the biggest fight of your life, you go out, or the day of, you break your ankle. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Was it broken? He really went to the hospital. Was it sprained or broken?
He said he sprained it. They offered damn near triple the amount of money that he was going to make, and he still said no.
Wow. That's boxing, right? That's how boxing used to be, I should say, because it's cleaned up a lot. It's cleaned up a lot, and it's definitely making a comeback. Did you see late last night, man, the UFC put out UFC 42. It was announced to be in Abu Dhabi, and of course, the big rumor is that Poirier is going to be fighting Khabib in that event, man. What do you think of that? Abu Dhabi is like halfway around the world.
Yeah, man. I think it's good. I like the fact that the UFC is expanding and open up and able to travel to different countries, man. That's awesome. It just goes to show you how broad the sport is.
No, it's they say it's the fastest growing sport, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's accurate, because everywhere, fighting is one of those things that you don't need to speak a certain language, right? It's almost its own language,
That's right. UFC is definitely the fastest growing sport. I mean, look at where it's evolved from the early days of. Shoot, it was on pay-per-view. It was almost on censored TV. Wow, look where we're at now, man.
Right, ESPN, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely come a long way, that's for sure. Well, I know that you must be busy, so I want to thank you for your time. Take a few minutes here, shout out your coaches. You don't have coaches, so, well, maybe you do. Do you still have coaches?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
I'm probably semi-retired right now. Like I said, I just opened up my own gym, so I've just been focusing energy here. But we can shout out all the coaches at American Top Team, man. We've got a great list of coaches. We've got Mike Brown, we've got Conan, we've got Dean Thomas, Phil Daru, the strength and conditioning coach, Anderson, we've got Cattell, Macahone. I mean, the list goes on. Yeah. We definitely got some of the best coaches in the world, man. So if any fighters looking to improve their game, ATT is where you want to be.
There's no doubt, man. ATT. You just named, and that's probably not even one third of the coaches. I mean, there's so many tremendous coaches there. The entire staff is phenomenal. Of course, you're a big part of that too. But where can everybody find you on social media, man?
My Instagram is Dyah_Ali. My Facebook is just my name, Dyah Davis, and I'm also on Twitter. I don't use Twitter much, but I think it's Dyah Ali Davis on Twitter.
All right. Well, hey, man, if you're up here for UFC 238, hit me up. I'll be there covering it. We can, we could talk some MMA or something.
All right, no doubt. Where's 238?
Up here in Chicago.
Chicago. Actually, yeah, I think I will be up there. I'm training Nina Ansaroff.
All right, there you go.
June 8th. Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, then. We'll hook up. We'll talk some MMA.
All right, brother. Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, Dyah.